It's been a long time, you guys, and honestly, I'm at a point in my life where I'm done apologizing for the time that I need to regulate myself again before hopping back on any platform that I hop back on. I be needing that time, y'all. I really do. And I feel like we're so used to putting things down other people's throats, like, you gotta be consistent, you gotta show up every time, yada, yada, yada. And granted, I'm not saying consistency is not a bad thing. I'm just saying sometimes you need some time to like really sit and like not produce anything for a little bit. Check in with yourself. Are you okay? How's your body feeling? How's your nervous system feeling? Are you overwhelmed? Do you need some time to regulate yourself before going back into being a member of society? And I am a self-aware individual where I've looked at myself and learned different aspects of myself through different seasons. And not only that, being so spiritually aligned, like, I believe in God, y'all. I'm very spiritual. I call myself, like, somebody just said this term, and I was like, that resonates deeply. I'm a free spiritualist. Okay. So I do not conform to any religious beliefs or anything like that. What resonates with me resonates with me. But I do believe in God. I believe in a higher source of all things. That's my belief. Now, sidetracked. But I think when it comes to being so spiritually driven and making sure that I am aligned in the different seasons that I do partake in, I know part of the seasons where I'm not producing, or part of the seasons where nothing is going on, I'm at a stillness. I think it's so very necessary for my path. And that's why I have to say, like, I'm done apologizing for the times that I do dip off and like take a back seat from what's going on in society. Because sometimes it be too much shit going on. Okay, it be too much things going on, and I need that time to really just like, okay, I need to go in my bubble for a little bit. I need to self-regulate. I need to pour into myself before I can come back outside. So I don't know how long it's been. I think it's been about like 3 months, more probably more than 3 months. I don't know. I don't care. It's been a minute since my last episode, but I also feel like there's different seasons where I am an extremist. I'm an extreme individual, and I'm very self aware enough to say this. When I'm called to different things in my life, I go all in. I'm either 100% all in or I'm out. That's just, it's just, that's just me. There's certain things where we'll be like, that's just me and we don't want to change. I don't mind changing, but I am a passionate individual. I have to care. And when I care, I go all in. That's just something I have to do. If I don't care, I'm out. I can't, there's no one foot in, one foot out the door. No, you lose me. I'm a passionate individual. I'm fire. I'm a fire sign, okay? All right. Not gonna get too much into astrology. But aside from that, like when I'm called to different roles, when God is calling me to different roles in different seasons, I go all in. It's like I treat it as school for a little bit. Like I treat it like I'm in school. Just like when you're in school, you're invested. You're 100% invested in a relationship. You're 100% invested in that thing. Well, at least I hope you guys are. But I need to be 100% invested. And a lot of times when God calls me to different seasons or roles that I'm supposed to play in different seasons, I'm 100% invested. I'm not able to like sit back and like really dissect what's happening while it's happening. I'm somebody that I have to go through it, go through the process, experience all the things that I need to experience. And then when I'm completely out of it, then I can take a moment to sit down and be like, damn, I did all it is. Let me talk about it. And I know like there's certain content creators that I like. I love like the authenticity when they talk of these things, because the person that's coming to mind is Jayla Majed. If you know Jayla Majed, you know what the fuck I'm talking about. Like she is so authentic, and when she says like, Y'all, I took a 3-month break, but I was not trying to take a 3 months break. I just really have to go through the shit that I have to go through. And then after living it, breathing it, going through it, processing it for herself, then she was able to edit the vlogs that she puts out and then give it to her subscribers. And when she speaks of that, I'm like, that resonates so deeply. It resonates so deeply to me because, granted, I put out so much content thus far on TikTok, YouTube, a little bit on podcasts, but really TikTok and YouTube, I've been like very, very consistently showing up. And even when I wasn't consistently showing up as far as like putting out content of me talking and like words of affirmation of those things, I was still being consistent on Instagram, showing up. I was doing fit checks. I was like really showing up. So I say all this to say that the seasons where I want to be a little bit more reclusive and I want to like really sit back and just be like, I just need to take a break to like, I just need to sit in stillness to really see what are the things that I learned, what are the things that the lessons that came up that I had to like navigate through. Like I feel like I love having that moment of stillness to like take like an attendance on everything, you know? But also, it's really that time to like check in with myself. I am a hypersensitive being, and that is, I feel like I am gonna name this as the episode. Yeah, I feel like that has such a negative connotation, or at least the term is being used so widely now. But I don't like when people explain, like I watched a video just recently of her explaining how she navigates life with her sensitivity. And I was just like, I resonated so deeply. Like, I don't care for the labels and terms and whatever. But when something resonates, something resonates. And I'm like, oh shit, this is what this is. Like, this is how I've lived my whole entire life. And sometimes when people share their journey, then you kind of feel seen. And I feel like that's so necessary in times where confusion comes up and doubt comes up and fear comes up. You need that community to like see yourself and resonate and be like, oh shit, this has been my life. I didn't know. I thought that I was going through this by myself. So when she talked of hypersensitivity, I was just like, whoa, like this is me. And granted, the term of hypersensitivity is basically just being very hyperly sensitive, like it's in the name. But it's being, I feel like it's when your senses, all of your senses, or even a little bit of your senses, whether it's sight, smell, sound, touch, you're sensitive to the different things that bring out your senses. Okay, you're hypersensitive. All right, I don't know. Okay, if you can't understand from that, go to Google. I don't even care to go to Google to give y'all that definition, but it's in the name. And for me, I am a hypersensitive being in a sense where I take everything all in, like my senses, and I can like, and really, it sounds like I can go outside and be like, oh, this is too loud. Like the noise is it's a bit too loud. It's a lot of stuff going on, and I'm somebody, people see me and they can see like I can be very extremely extroverted, but that is not the case. I'm selectively extroverted. Like, and I'm really introverted at my core. But when I have my time, my reclusiveness, and I'm able to like be introspective and like be in my own energy and I fill my cup up, then I'm able to go back outside and be like, okay, hey y'all, what's up? It's been a minute, but I'm back, you know? So I just went on another tangent. But okay, y'all, there's no structure to this. I just know I came on here because I needed to express. All right. And that is the whole gist of why I came in here. As a hypersensitive being, I can be in different seasons where I go all in, I'm invested, I'm doing all the things. If God is calling me to be in a season where I need to perform, I need to be on go, 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 I adapt to that. And then I'm like, all right, I'm doing it. Yeah, like I'm using all this fire energy and I'm putting all this thing out, whatever God is calling me to do, I be that. But then there gets to a point where, and really it's when I stop growing. When I stop growing as an individual and I feel like I'm being stagnant and there's nothing else here for me to do, God calls me out of that season. And God is like, all right, you're done here. Wrap it up. And me, I'm somebody where I know outside looking in, it can look like I'm just not, I can't hold a job, or I'm just not, like, it looks that way. But granted, I don't care anymore. I don't care what it looks like anymore to outside people looking in. I know I'm somebody who is heavily, I move like I'm intuitively guided in life, like very much so. So I know for a fact when God is calling me out of a certain season, and I would try my best to really just sit and like wait long enough, because I'll be like, I'll get so attached to the people, to the connections that I made at any particular job. And I'll be like, no, like, let me stay for a little bit. And I'll try to push it and push it. But God would be like, your time is up. And then when I don't listen, like the signs be so blatantly clear, people around me will start activating. I will start changing like my emotions. Like I'll get very like triggered. Like, and I'll be like, damn, it's time for me to go. And I'm not listening, but it's time for me to go. And so I say this, and I'm expressing this because maybe somebody can resonate to this. I don't know. I think for me, it's one of those things where I'm somebody that always have to, like, once I'm done with whatever role God calls me out of, I, there's a time where I go through like a grieving process. And that's what I wanted to talk about because I feel like that's not really talked about enough. The grieving process when God has called you into a transitional season in your life. And that's where I'm at. Like, I know every time I hop back on the podcast episode, you guys catch me at a transitional period in my life. But the thing is, I will drop a podcast episode and then I'll work through it and then I'll come back. I'll be like, I'm good, y'all. But I think in this season, it's necessary for me to not only check in with myself, but express the things that I'm going through while I'm going through a transitional period. Because how I used to operate, I used to navigate a lot of those things, the emotions that came up, the feelings, the revelations. I used to navigate it on my own. And once I'm good, I'm be like, all right, I'm back outside, y'all. Did y'all miss me? What's up? And that's good and all. What once worked, I'm beginning to see it's no longer working anymore. Because excuse me, I'm drinking my tea, you guys. I'm feeling my throat. It's feeling a little something right there. And that's another reason why I said, let me come on here before I lose my voice and express. Let me utilize this throat chakra because God has been calling me to speak for a bit now. And I was just be like, oh no, I'm not feeling good. Like, so that's another sign of like, all right, let me go ahead and utilize this throat chakra. Let me express because I felt myself getting into a depressive state. And if y'all don't know, like, depression is really just suppression, especially as creatives. Like, if as a creator we are depressed, it's simply because we're suppressing the things that we need to express. And when somebody said that, I don't know. I heard that from like before, and I was just like, shit, that makes so much sense. And I really took a reflective period. I took time to reflect on the times where I was depressed. And a lot of those times, I'll be in seasons where I'm not talking. I'm like in my bed. I'm like, people don't talk about this enough, but I know you guys see me as like a confident person. And granted, yeah, I've had seasons where I'm growing my self confidence and all these things and growing my self worth. But I feel like there's times where people need to really express the times where they don't feel like 100%. Um, because I have seasons that way and I'm human. I do experience all the feels. I just kind of be very recluse when I am going through those seasons. And I'm like, you know what? Let me just go through it myself, me and God. And then once I'm out of it, I'm out of it. And I'm like, all right, cool. But I think more and more people are feeling more sensitive to the emotions that are coming up, which leads me to me coming on here and really expressing because I felt myself like, okay, just as much as my bedroom is my best friend, it's also one of those things where it can be my crutch as well. Like, I love my bed. I love being in my room. My room is my safe haven. But I felt it getting to a point where it's like, damn, now it's kind of hard for me to like want to get up. Um, and y'all follow me. I hope you guys are following me because I know the way that I talk, I flow. So, anyways, yeah. And I think that's why it goes back to like a lot of people don't really talk about the grieving process from being in a season where things were very high paced and you were on it, you were on go, 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 you were productive and it felt great. Like, the ego was egoing, all of these things were happening. And then when God transitioned us into a season where we're at a stillness and things are a little bit much slower. And now God is calling you to like be a little bit more patient and waiting for the next opportunity and stepping into the unknown. And I just feel like it's necessary to speak on that because I know for me, I've been so conditioned, like that has been my journey. It has been my journey where, all right, I'm at this job for like about 3, 5, 6 months. I've learned, I've mastered all the skills that I need to master. Now I'm at a point where I'm not growing anymore. And so now I got to jump off the cliff because God is calling me to something else. And it's time for me to do it all over again. That has been my life. And I'm not even shameful about it. Before, like, I would be like kind of ashamed a little bit because I'm like, damn, it looks like I can't keep a job. But really, it's like, no, I'm employed by the divine. I always have a job. Even when I don't have a productive job in society, I'm over here convening with God and receiving the downloads that I need to receive. And like, I'm still learning more by myself, diving deeper. But a lot of people don't see that. And it's okay because it's not for people to see that. But I just really have to come and say how important it is for me to come on here and talk about the transitional period. Because, say, for example, people this year are being called to leave a job that they've had for like 3, 4 plus years and they've grown their whole identity on whatever position they've had for that amount of years, and God is calling them out of that season to walk into a different season and to walk into a season of stillness. I can understand why a lot of people can be depressed about that because once what they once knew and the version of them that they once knew is no longer anymore. And now God is calling them to grow into a different version of them. And that can be scary. but it can also be sad as well. And I think for me, that's been my journey. Like, I've always grieved any job that I've left. And it can sound fun, it can sound exhilarating, like, yeah, I'm gonna leave this job, like, boom, I'm gonna jump off this cliff. I have peace when I make that decision. Like, when God is calling me to make that decision, there is peace that comes. But after some time and after being in that season of stillness and there's nothing going on, then those emotions come up of being like, damn, I had all this connection. I made, great connections with people, and we shared laughs, we cried, we did all these things together, and now I have to go. And that's why when I leave a job, it's like a season of mourning a little bit, and it be taking just as much amount of time that I was in that job to get over it. Um, and it's kind of bittersweet because I know I'm somebody that will always constantly choose growth. Like, I need to grow. Like, not in a sense of where I'm like, I need to be fixed and something is wrong with me and I always have to constantly be improving. No, I'm saying I'm passionate about learning different aspects of myself. I'm passionate about growing and expanding, um, learning the different things that I like and different things that I don't like, expanding my knowledge of myself, but also of things that bring me curiosity. Like, I'm somebody who I just love to learn and grow, you know? And I treat the world like it's my school, but also my playground. And so when God does call me out of seasons of productivity and I'm in a season of, I have to like really chill and like slow down and like be patient, you sit in that energy long enough, there's some things that's gonna come up. Okay, there is some things that will come up and you got to feel your way out of it for all of the things to come up. And in the seasons of transitions, that is usually what I'm doing. And that's why I'm not consistent as much as I would love to be. And in my mind, I can make a plan and be like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna post every day. I'm gonna post every 2 weeks or every week." It will start off that way, and like I said, I'll go all in, and I'll be like, "All right, boom, let me go ahead put all these things out." And then God calls me to be like, "All right, chill for a little bit." And I don't know how long that chill period will be for, but like, it's whenever God calls me, all right, now it's time for you to produce again. Like, so it's one of those balancing acts. And part of me can be like, damn, this is so annoying. Like, why, why? Like, why me? Why me? Like, am I the only one going through this? And as much as I can complain about it, part of me is like, no, like, this is what's actually necessary for me to operate in the world as a human being. And God knows me better than I know myself. God knows my spirit. God knows my soul. And it's one of those things where I know I'm hypersensitive to everything that's going on. And I can be in it for a little bit, but then burnout comes up. And then I'm overwhelmed because it's too much. I'm overstimulated. And then I have to like take a step back and I'm like, all this shit gotta go. I gotta escape. Like, and yes, I have a little bit of escapism tendencies, but I just feel like it's just something that I need. Like, it's necessary for me. And when it comes to like these grieving points in my journey, these are times of growth. And I really want to say this, like, it's necessary to grieve. It's so, so necessary because when you get out of a relationship, you need to grieve that relationship, the good times, the bad times, the things, that comfortability that you had with that person. You need to grieve that. And it's the same that pertains to a friendship, um, a job. Like, I always have to like grieve those things. So then when I'm like fully ready, I'm like, all right, cool. Like, I can move on now. But I just really wanted to hop on here because I felt myself getting into a dark space because a lot of these emotions were coming up, and I was like, damn, like, I'm not doing anything. And it's like, it's not that I don't want to do anything, it's just that like I don't feel like it's like the urge to want to do it is not there. And so when it comes to this podcast, I know that it started off as a way for me to express and really process what was coming up for me. But I know I'm somebody that I need to express. And when I'm not expressing myself, when I'm not having the conversations that I need to have, I, I stay silent. And when I stay silent, then I stay stagnant. And then I don't want to do anything. So before it's spiraling down into me needing help for real, I had to come on here um, and express what's going on and what's coming up because I know I'm not alone. And I know we're going into a season of, I know a lot of people are being more awakened to the season that like we need community. And that's why it goes back to what I said about what once worked is no longer working anymore. Me doing this healing work, solo dolo, me and God, me doing that, it worked then. I loved it. I was just like, all right, cool. I'm good now. We good, God. All right, cool. Let me go back outside and be a member of society. But now it's like, okay, community is needed. Community is so, so needed. And I know isolation is something that has been healthy for me, but too much of a good thing can be not so good, right? And so I felt myself of like, all right, I've been isolating a little bit too much. I need to be, not saying I need to be with everybody and I need to be in just anything, because God forbid, I'm not saying I need to be with everybody and anybody. No, still use your discernment. I need to be around people who see me. I need to be around people who understand and can show up for me in the way that I can show up for them. You know, that's what I need. I need emotional depth. I need emotional availability. I need someone who has the capacity. Because I'm somebody who willingly gives and shows up. And I just intuitively be knowing what people be needing for real. But part of me has been like, damn, I've gotten so good at intuitively knowing what other people need. But was that because I didn't receive what I needed as a child? And the answer is yes. um, so it's like I overcompensate because I didn't receive the emotional security that I needed as a child. So now I've been that person to show up for other people in their times of transition when they need somebody who understands them, who sees them, who can speak life into them. And so now it's like when I have these moments of stillness, I'm like, damn, I need that, you know? I need the very thing that I be giving so freely to other people. And granted, I give that to myself, but I think now it's like I need community too. Like I can give this to myself and I can do the healing work because I've done the healing work this whole time by myself with me and God. But now it's like, okay, I need God's people around me who has also been doing the healing work with God so we can come together and be like, you're not alone. I see you because I see me, you know? And that's just where I'm at right now. And I'm proud of myself because part of me was like, okay, if I get back on podcasts, I need to just show my face and I need to put out a visual. And I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, I'm like, even just doing this, I'm like, I'm proud of myself because it's just been me in my bed and I'm like, yeah, I've been needing that. Granted, part of it has been like I needed that rest, but then it was just like, okay, I need some support too. I need to feel like I'm not doing this alone. And the thing is, like, I know God is like, has been calling me to show up and express what's been going on and share the different perspectives that I I have sometimes because that has helped many people along my journey. And that is, I know, is definitely a gift of mine. But in this season, eventually I can say that eventually I will, show my face and like put a visual and do the things um to make the podcast more appealing. But I feel like I just wanted to just come up here raw, not care about having to set up everything. Let me just speak. And sometimes I know part of me can sometimes feel like the visuals can be a distraction. And it can be like, all right, like, did you catch the word though? Or were you just mesmerized by the wig that I put on, my makeup, the fit that I put on, Granted, I love all those things, don't get me wrong. I do love all those things. But when it comes to like being raw and like really expressing myself, I just be needing my voice. Let me just sit and let me just talk. Eventually, I'll do the whole shebang and like put a visual out for the people. But for now, I just really needed to express because I felt myself going into a dark space. And for anybody who has been feeling that themselves, maybe it's time for you to express yourself as well. Express the very thing that has been difficult for you to express. And when you express it and you get it off your chest, things can be a little bit more smoother. Things can feel a little bit better. Like, yes, the emotions will come up and all of those things, but you'll feel a little better. Because even after making this episode, I do feel a little better. And I'm like, all right, cool. I don't know how often I will come up here. Um, like I said, when I feel called and I'm like, all right, Spirit is saying, let me go ahead. Or if I feel myself drifting a little bit, I'm gonna come back on here. Um, but yeah, I just really have to be real and honest and just share this space. And this has been helpful for me. But I really hope it's been helpful for you guys, and I hope it wasn't just like a being a Debbie Downer. Because I do have different. I have a personality, but I just feel like sometimes having being so on all the time, people can view me as not being human, and I'm like, no, I have emotions, like, and I feel like it gives people permission to also express the emotions that they don't really outwardly express so often because we have to get up and produce and perform and show up. So I don't know. Yeah, I believe this is all I have to say for right now. And then when I feel called to get back on here and express what's been going on and open up a little bit, I would do that. But I say this to say that you are not alone. I love you guys. Whoever tunes in, I'm like, I see you. I'm here for you, and yeah, you're not alone. It's really all love. And granted, last thing I'm going to say is Just because you're in a season of stillness and just because you're in a season where you're not, you know, producing or performing or you're not on 100% like you was in a previous season does not mean that God is done with you. It doesn't mean that God has forgotten about you. It doesn't mean that God doesn't have anything better for you that's soon to come. Like every time I've been in a season of stillness and a season of like me having to process the things that have been going on, is because I'm letting go of different limiting beliefs and different things that I've learned and I was conditioned to from a previous season that I have to let go of before going into my next season. And once my next season came, I was better. I was like, oh, yeah, yeah, I'm ready now. I was prepared. So, in these seasons of like stillness, that is what God wants for us, is to be prepared. So, when the blessing does come in, we don't sabotage it. So, I would forever choose to grieve the different seasons that I navigate through. I will always choose that because a lot of times we don't know that we're carrying things that are not ours, like baggages, energy, like all of those things that we've carried with us. And we don't know that until we stop and there's stillness. And then we let that shit go. And then we feel more liberated and free. And when that happens, that's when God can bring in your blessing. And so I just stopped. I had to say that because I was like, don't ever think, honey, don't ever think. I was like, baby, one thing about it, one thing for sure, somebody can catch me in a season where I'm down and then they think that I'm going to stay in that season. And I'm like, bitch, one thing about it, I will always rise up, honey. Okay. Okay. My shadow had to come up like, bitch, and don't you ever think, that was my shadow. Okay. And I love her. One thing about it. All right, but yeah, I just have to come out and say that because I don't know what I don't get. Like it's just really boggles me sometimes when people think that just because they see you in a season where you feel like they feel like you down and out, they think that you're gonna forever be in that season, and they laugh at you in that season, and then when you get out, they like, oh, I thought you was gonna be there. No, bitch, it's always gonna be a level up. Okay, yeah, Shadow had to come out for a little bit. Cause one thing about it, people always be doubting on the kid. They be girl, they really do. But okay, that was the last thing I had to say. So yeah, I will come back on here when I feel called to. But this has definitely helped me. I hope it helps you guys. And yeah, I see you guys, all my hypersensitive beings out there, my neurospicy people. Yeah, you got a sister with you. Okay. But I love you guys. Y'all stay flowing, glowing, and growing. I'll see you guys next time. Peace and love.